All right, everyone. I know that as a matter of policy, I've made a point of not really talking too much about YouTube drama up until now, but you know, fuck policy because I guess this was just too much fun to pass up. So I have here a person I'd say, I don't know if, I mean, we're quite kind of friends of circumstance, not really, I don't agree with you on almost anything. A lot of my friends despise you. I don't know if any of your friends know who I am. But by the way, can everybody hear me? Let me know if. Let me see here. Anyway, so I have here um, Joe Enders from Far Right or Far Wrong, the podcast, and he has a certain personal situation with a different person who's what is he, a podcaster? And for reasons of, I guess, not getting snitched out on Facebook, this will be a debate on Friday between Joe, aka the Groypertaker, and Mister what do we call him? Snitch Benoit. That's the only thing I can call him. He is apparently reporting everything from people that disagree with him, blocking other libertarians, and it's pretty ridiculous that I am on fucking YouTube in league with a Groyper because I mean, okay, you take it from here. How did this all start? That's my main question. How the fuck did we start this chain of events that got me here to being on stream in league with a Groyper?
It's just the silliest thing ever to me. I mean, we've done one stream before, right? Like, I mean, I think we've done that one stream where I totally made your Israeli guest very angry at me.
Oh, by the way, he wanted to do another one, but
Yeah,
anyway.
I mean, I'm fine with that.
No, he
I don't
doesn't.
like. I'll talk to anybody.
Right.
I'll even talk to that cringy little retard Matt. But my thing with this guy is like, this guy is literally trying to censor me, to assassinate my character, and to assassinate the character of my boss, all at the same time. And the ridiculous thing about it is, like, the lengths this guy is going to tarnish the reputation of everybody that it doesn't literally fall in line with him shows that, I mean, the guy is literally exactly what he criticizes me of being, some, brutal tyrannical dictator that wants everybody to bow down to his will and his things like that. He calls me what is one thing he calls me? He obviously calls me
Homo
stupid
Joe.
and stuff. Oh, that.
Yeah.
I don't care about that. What he does is he'll like call me like a bully or something like that. Not only have I never not only have I never in my entire life reported a post from that little weasel, I've never even unfriended the guy on Facebook. But this guy,
I mean, I'll tell you. So my personal opinion is, I mean, I think he's milking this for attention, but I also think you're milking it for attention. But it is working, and just for clarity, I did challenge you to a debate, and I want to debate after Friday at 7 on your channel. You're gonna do it?
I mean, well, no, because I can't even get this thing to work. So I'll have to figure something out if we do it on my channel. I mean, we could probably do it on yours. They got rid of Google Hangouts on air.
Well, yeah, but I can't do Friday. So
no, Friday I'm debating Matt.
Right.
7
Yeah,
o'clock.
that's what I meant. What channel is that debate going to be on?
So it's going to be on Facebook Live. It's going to be on probably Max Rice's Facebook Live. He's going to be moderating it.
Okay.
So because he's got the premium Zoom account, I guess. So he's going to be doing that. By the way, Zoom jacked up their prices for COVID-19 apparently, or something like that. They're charging like $40 a month for you to be able to do streams on Facebook. I'm like, and I can totally afford that if I wanted to, but just out of spite, I'm not going to.
So yeah. So again, like, how did you and this guy, how did you actually come to be in the same conversation? That's my main question.
this guy's been like, he apparently in one of his live streams been like lurking on my Facebook page for like years or something like that.
Mm.
I'm sure he's a huge fan. I mean, clearly, but it seems to me like this guy is I'm like just obsessed with me. He posts about me 20 times a day. I met this guy while I was recruiting for interns when I was a field director for the Congressional Leadership Fund.
Okay.
And I was going out and I was, canvassing for Congressman Rodney Davis. I was going to colleges recruiting interns. And one of my interns like, oh, this guy's a Trump supporter. He seems like a good Trump guy. You're gonna like him. Just try bringing him on. He seems like a hardworking guy. So I meet with him, and he seems like a normal guy, but he kind of is like something a little off about him. He tries debating me on unions and got destroyed, just like he's going to on Friday. And then after that, he said he was interested, and I'm like, oh, okay, good. Just give me your number and I'll text you when I want you to come to the office. And I did. I gave him all that information, or I gave him my information. He went out and I texted him and he didn't answer me. And I was like, okay, well, are you going to come in for the internship? Are you going to come and work? And I got no answer. And then I called him and I was like, okay. So, and then I'm like, are you interested in the internship? And then he finally gets back to me like a week and a half later. This is how lazy this guy is. He gets back to me like a week and a half later and tells me that, oh yeah, I'm still interested. Sorry. I've just been really busy with school and stuff. And I'm like, oh, well, okay. Do you want me to, so you're still interested then? And he's like, yeah. And I was like, okay. So then I kept texting him and he still never came. And I'm like, you know what, dude? Like, and then he goes on his live stream saying I'm harassing his phone, sending him 25 text messages. I was like, yeah, that's because I was trying to get you to come to work to canvass for your congressman, retard. Like, what do you think I'm gonna do? That's my job. Have you ever done work in politics?
Thank God, no.
Okay, well, that's what you do. I did that to all my interns when they were coming in, and then they'd get back to me, and then I'd be like, oh, okay, whatever. And if they said they weren't interested, I would leave them alone. So whatever that whole thing was, that never happened. But it's not the only lie he's told, and we'll probably get into that a little later too. But yeah, I mean, the guy was a relatively, thin and wimpy guy that seemed like he was that typical white bread Turning Point USA type conservative that wanted to get out and do grassroots work. So that was the only reason I was interested in associating with him.
Right. So I'm sensing that a lot of this is mainly, I guess, the result of, first of all, that he blew you off. Second of all,
no. It's not the result of him blowing me off.
Okay.
I didn't start this.
Mm-hmm.
This guy.
No, but then do you think that, like, there was something in that interaction that, because I don't think that this is really about politics. I think, like, for example, just for context.
Hold on. It is for me.
Okay.
If you have noticed, I've never launched any personal attack at this guy unless it was in response to his own. And you can go on record saying that. You have
had personal attacks against him, and he's also, he's initiated personal attacks against you.
No. I didn't. I've never initiated personal attacks against him.
Right.
Everything I do is a response to something that he says. Mm-hmm. Remember, I'm not a radical. I'm a reactionary. I'm reacting.
Okay.
To the radicalism that's going around, and that's and quote me on that. Look through the posts yourself. I don't just go around, doing this, that, and the other. I just respond to things that he's doing to me.
Okay, so for the record, like, I'll just state like what I've seen. For context, because we're not just streaming with Joe's Facebook group, we're streaming on my YouTube channel. So me and Joe have had discussions, some pretty heated discussions, but I don't think I haven't said anything personal about you, right? But
never.
This guy, he's been, talking about Joe being a closeted homosexual. He's been talking about Joe being, what other things has he said about you? Talked about you being a redneck, talked about you being fat.
Well, hold on. The redneck part's true. The redneck part is true. I mean, look at me.
Right. But he, like, a lot of it, I believe, is really not political at all. It's like a personal, it's just a personal vendetta or something. I have no other background on the guy, whether he has a following or not. Not that I care, but at a certain point, there was this proposal that they would debate, and I put forward a rules document that I'd made for debates in the past. And in the end, instead, like we had a group discussion, and rather than actually read through the document, the other guy, uh,
Well,
snitched.
let's talk about this guy for a second and what
Okay.
his name rhymes with.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Okay.
it rhymes with, what is it? Cat ba
Cat ass man.
cat ass man. Yeah,
Right.
there you go. That
So,
works. So yeah, it's cat blank man or whatever. You know what I mean? We'll go with that. So yeah, that's this guy. You can find him on Facebook. Trust me, just go on any of my posts. He's commenting on all of them.
yes, he's commenting on a lot of your posts as if he's really swaying minds, and I don't think anybody's swaying minds at all. I think, but first of all,
No, that's not
he's
true.
being
That's not true. That's not true.
well, actually, yeah, you're right. A friend of mine who, for sure, he hates you, has said that Matt is just like a complete idiot, and or sorry, Cat Assman is a complete idiot, and he's immature, and that's saying something when considering that this is a friend of mine and that he knows you, that he would say that the other
Yeah, look,
party is
I'm not afraid of having enemies, man. Like
right.
I get it. Like everybody's free to hate me and disagree with me all they freaking want. I'm not gonna do anything about it. I don't care how you feel about what I believe or what I do or anything like that. But like I'm not gonna go out of my way to like, to like report all your posts or make like hour-and-a-half live streams about how you're secretly gay when you're not or something like that when we don't agree on something. Like that's insane. That's literally psychotic. And I don't know how else to describe it. I mean, the guy I think has a problem. And
Or he's trying to use it for attention or something.
Oh, we all know. Well, we all know he's clout chasing, dude. Mm-hmm. Like, and as much as he doesn't want to admit it, his engagement goes up whenever I even mention his name. And at this point, I'm just promoting my debate. I mean, I wouldn't care if he was in it or not. So yeah, I'm posting about him a lot now, but it's just promo for the debate that I want people to watch me destroy him in. That's it.
Yeah,
that's all it is. How much did I post about this guy before I decided I wanted to do a debate? Maybe like I would respond to something that he said. Now I'm just riffing the guy.
Well, I think he was like basically feeding you a lot of like very good material, and I personally, like, I wouldn't use the tactics that the tactics he used are idiotic. Having his sister like contact you.
I don't know if he had his sister. I think his sister just did that, which actually makes it even funnier. I mean, I like his sister though. Like, she's good looking and she helps her family when they're clearly in trouble. And trust me, the guy's clearly in trouble getting in the debate waters with me. I mean, especially a guy of his intellectual caliber. I mean, we've both seen it. Even as somebody who probably doesn't agree with me on almost anything, you can see that like where I'm at intellectually is not where this guy is intellectually.
It's right, and like, so some people might ask. I know Lennon McCarthy is on, and a lot of the other people are, I think, followers of yours. So I am much more, economically libertarian, civil libertarian. Believe in separation of church and state. Joe, you can recharacterize if you want, but does not believe in separation of church and state. Is more of an authoritarian. Does believe in like, bigger role for morality by the states and authorities. So me and him, we've had some pretty heated written discussions, but I think we've kept it more or less issue focused.
There's a reason I chose you to be the moderator initially until Matt flipped out and wouldn't let you be my moderator. So, and by the way, in response to that, I totally put in a very biased moderator. I'm like, oh, you want to play that game? So, whatever. Like, that's fine. And by the way, yeah, put me at a loss for it. I don't freaking care. Like, this guy kicked out the good moderator that I gave him. He's like, oh, what did you say to him?
What did I say to him?
Yeah,
I
what made him so upset? Like, he was flying off the handle in the chat.
I said to him, you don't have to like do the same, the same trolling in here in the chat that you do in public. Like, we all know that you two hate each other, and just stop being a fucking dickhead, and let's settle on conditions, and that'll be it. So we could set up the debate. And then he took offense at being called a dickhead because I didn't even remember yesterday you posted something where you said you wanted me to be a moderator. Yeah. I don't like moderating, and I didn't want to be a moderator. I offered you guys a set of rules and format. That was it. I wasn't even offering to be a moderator. So then he freaks out and says, how can this person be a moderator if he called me a dickhead? Well, people are seeing you call other people shit all the time. So what does it matter? He's
calling me a homo, dude. I mean, like, really? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I guess we can't have him in there at all. And that's the problem that like both of us, I think, saw initially. I mean, like, he should have realized that you were just joking around, and you do that all the time on my post. You're just like, oh, hey, stop being, heads or whatever, or something like that. I think I posted in something in the chat where I'm like, hey, can we make sure to have at least like one Jewish person in here so I can not trust them as a joke? And
yeah. So
they get that it's ironic or something like that. And then we just move on from it. It's just like, this guy is a little girl. It's the simplest way to put it. He takes things personally when like we're just razzing you, bud.
Right. So, and I think like it's pretty clear if you like. I also watched some of that weird discussion he had with other gentlemen there yesterday from Pennsylvania. I'm assuming.
So Penn State, Florida man is his name.
Okay, so
his name's James, and that's all we're gonna say.
Like
James Penn State, Florida man.
Like, I understand this might have something to do with the strife within the conservative movement between the Conservative Inc. TPUSA people and perhaps your faction. You are part of the Groyper still, right?
I'm a little older than Groypers, okay. So I would say I'm a traditional conservative, a tradcon, because I'm not. I'm 25. I'm okay. Like the oldest a Groyper could be. So I mean, I guess I'm like a proto Groyper, sort of in a way. But
yeah, you're like Iggy Pop.
I don't know what that means, but sure.
Exactly. So well, maybe you're Groyper enough then. Iggy Pop was like the pre-punk rock guy, anyway. So,
oh, okay.
By the way, I'm 77 years old next March. So
nice. Congrats.
No, I'm just kidding. In any case, so the issue that I'm seeing here, there's no, like, when they were discussing the topics, people were floating, what is conservatism? I don't think he cares what conservatism is. I think you do. It's sort of I wouldn't debate the topic. I think it's a little too vague, but what do you think it is going to be about on Friday? Have you settled it already? I think I dropped out at that point. I was like, fuck it.
I think he's just going to call me gay the whole time. To be honest with you, I don't think he's even going to debate me because first off, he knows he can't win. I mean, you saw the live stream that he did, right? Like with that James guy, like that. They don't have anything. All they have is Joe gay because he don't like gay. It's like, oh yeah, so if you're arachnophobic, that means you want to have sex with spiders.
Well, I think this gets to a topic. As a libertarian, I don't believe in laws against putting people in jail for sodomy. I don't think because I don't think it's enforceable.
Well, hold on, I don't believe in that either, though.
Right, but like, I don't believe also in this idea that believing in freedom means that you don't have the ability to ridicule other people for lifestyle choices. So I think you can ridicule someone else for being like, if you don't like gay people, then it's a taste choice for me. Like, for you, it's a morality choice what they're doing as gay people, right?
Yeah.
For me, it's a taste choice that I think it's sort of a disgusting act for men. I think.
Are you religious, by the way, at all?
I am religious, but I think my political views often clash with religious doctrine.
I was just asking because I
Right.
mean I don't know if you believe Leviticus or not, but if you do, it's quite obvious that it's a
Yeah,
disgusting
I understand.
abomination.
I understand the reasoning
Okay.
behind it. I'm saying that in terms of, but there's also beyond just the moral perspective. Some people don't have like it's not an issue of it being moral. They just don't find it. I had a friend who she was very liberal, and she happened to say that she doesn't like gay guys because it's just like it's like two weird angular things like together or something. She thinks that it's disgusting. It's a taste issue for some people. So
Yep.
I as a I don't think we should judge people's taste as something that's like a moral issue, but you can make fun of it for sure. You can make fun of somebody for having a rusty ass car, right?
Well,
Is
yeah,
that
and that's what you're getting at the core of the issue here, and I think that I'm probably more libertarian on this than Matt is,
Mhm.
because like in the discussion that I was having, like in the video, I mean, I don't know if you heard this part, but Matt and James were like, you're just like, yeah, Joe thinks it's okay for him to make fun of Jews, for him to make fun of Protestants and stuff like that. And Mexicans, and I'm like, yeah, and of course I can. I
Mhm.
can make fun of whoever the freaking heck I want. What do you think this is?
Right, because we
That,
live in a free society, right?
I don't. I'm not going to say that because
All
we don't live in a free
right,
society right
keep
now.
going.
Because we
That
don't live in a free
all
society
right.
right now. And first off, making fun of Protestants or Jews is not obscene in any way. Neither is saying that the Catholic Church has a problem with pedophile priests. I mean, I agree with that. I
Mhm.
report on that. So it's like those aren't obscene things. I'm for restricting obscene speech, just like they did at the founding.
Okay.
You know that as well as I do, that at the founding, that protected speech obscenity was not considered uh, protected speech under the First Amendment of the Constitution at all. First
Okay.
Amendment in context was understood as being an amendment geared towards freedom of political speech. And they wanted that broad interpretation of freedom of speech in there because they understood that the population was religious, and they didn't see that as a danger at the time. John Adams even said that a religious populace cannot thrive, or what, something like that. America will fail if the population doesn't remain religious, because they wrote it to appeal to a religious people. Well, now we're not even a people anymore, so it doesn't even matter. But my point is that that's the context of the First Amendment that I believe in. And these idiots go on the stream talking about how I want to jail homosexuals, how I want to. I think they said they want me to throw transgender people in prison. How the heck am I going to do that?
so so yeah, without get so to be clear, like my perspective of the Constitution certainly more broad than what you just described, but it is a constitutional interpretation. We were talking about based on John Adams, the second president and one of the founders, one of the signers of the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution. But do you think you'll even get into that? Because the fact
I don't
is,
think. I think after I say that to him, that he's just going to be like, oh. I don't think he's going to have an. I don't think he's going to even have an answer. He doesn't know. Like I said, he doesn't know what he's getting into. I have a bachelor's degree in politics, economics, and philosophy
Mhm.
from a top 200 liberal arts college in New York City. I have a very good education. I've studied and I've retained that knowledge because it's important to me, and I use it to promote. It's funny because it was actually a Protestant school, so I know a lot about Protestantism as well. So because of that, you know what I'm saying? This is what's happening right now. He doesn't know. He doesn't understand what he's getting into here at all. Like I am more on par to be debating Richard Spencer than I am, somebody with a master's degree from where did he go? Whatever it was, on white nationalism, which, by the way, actually happened because when I did debate Richard Spencer the first time, he was actually so impressed with how well I debated against him that he wanted to do it again.
Mhm.
So, I mean, this is my point. This guy doesn't know anything, and he's trying to debate me. He doesn't even know that at the founding that there's an original. He doesn't even know what an originalist interpretation is. He doesn't know what that means. And by the way, yes, I'm saying all this right now because I know he's watching. Google it, idiot, and prepare for the debate because you're in for it. And that's my point, is just like, I think he's going to back out. I'm going to be honest with you. He's probably going to wind up backing out, especially after this.
Right. And the other thing that I keep noticing, though, is that, this guy did get into like a huge tiff with you. A lot of other people, they'll log on and they'll say, you'll say something about Martin Luther, and they obviously like are. What's your perspective? So this is just informational. So
Yeah.
of course the Reformation was a very violent period in European history, caused some of the reasons that England and Scotland united and eventually sent they didn't send colonists out, but the colonists came here. The United States became a Protestant society, and given the role that a lot of Protestant sects had here, do you not think that it is a bit of a divergence, like having your opinions and saying that they don't really have a role in the society you want, when of course Massachusetts Bay Colony and Jamestown, those were Protestant settlements, and a lot of their principles were central to the societies that developed here prior to the founding and then caused the founding of the country. If I may, I mean, I kind of phrase that awkwardly, but
I understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying, and at the end of the day, it just goes to people don't know what America was and what it even looked like. They don't understand founding America. They don't understand what it was like at all. There was 10 state churches, all different Protestant denominations. They understood that the 13 colonies did not want freedom of religion. They wanted to have their own communities under a federal government that respected freedom of religion. That's the point. That's what they wanted. Pennsylvania, I believe, was the Quakers were the state church, and people are like, well, you're Catholic and Catholics weren't allowed there. Well, that's what Maryland was founded for before Anglicans violently took it over. So, well, I shouldn't. Well, yeah, sort of violently. Okay, I'll reserve the violent word on that, maybe.
Okay, so yeah, Georgia was explicitly an Anglican colony, and I believe New Hampshire was whatever. Who cares? I think
it doesn't matter. My point is one of the states that the founders wanted in their union was founded to be Catholic.
Right.
So the Catholics were welcome in America. They always were.
Named after Queen Mary.
Yes, Maryland.
So
that's that by the way is almost an insult, because they're like, oh, Maryland. That's what all the where Mary worshippers are in Maryland, or whatever.
Well, from what I understand, it was named, like, Queen Mary was the last English Catholic queen, so that's why they named Maryland after her, not after the Virgin Mary.
It's both.
Oh, really? Anyway, so I lost my train of thought there, but so within that framework, where do you think, like, the non-Christian denomination, the Muslims, Jews, Hindus, Sikhs who live here, so what would be their status, under the type of framework you're looking for?
Yeah, I don't think they should be still. I mean, the people that are already here are here. Like, that's it. I think that they should just follow their in-group preference and live with Jews and Muslims like they kind of already do. I mean, I think that I'm not going to kick them out or anything. I do think that they would be happier in federal territories, though, if they chose to leave, just simply because there would be freedom of religion there. There wouldn't be state churches that are telling them you have to have Good Friday off or something like that, when the Jews are like, why? We don't care about Good Friday. You know what I mean? That sort of stuff. So, I mean, those are sorts of things where it's like you live in this Christian society with this Christian way of thinking, and you have to follow these Christian moral codes. You know what I mean? I'm not talking. I think it would be unfair for there to be moral codes like, well, you have to eat pork on such and such day, but we would never do that. It's not even. There's nothing Christian that demands you eat pork.
Well, it happens to be so. This is just an aside, and it's not. I mean, we'll probably address some of these things at a later time. It has nothing to do with the cat ass man debate, but so I was like looking through like intermarriage issues, religious intermarriage, not racial, And the fact is, with Jewish Americans, there's a very high intermarriage rate. With Greek Orthodox, also, there's like a huge crisis in it, as well as the Catholic Church. Um, Probably not as bad in the Catholic Church, but the Greek Orthodox Church, for example, it's very difficult for a couple to be composed of two Greek Orthodox Church members nowadays.
Right.
And I'm assuming there's a similar issue with almost any church, like keeping people within the same doctrine. So, you know, that is partially a result of the secularization of America, the reduction of the importance of faith in public life. And what you're talking about is reversing a lot of that. But
Right.
do you think that will be like too difficult to do given the amount of change that's happened, especially since the 60s? I
Yes.
remember that
Yeah,
Rand
no,
Paul.
I do.
Yeah,
Well, let me answer
yeah.
that
Go
real
ahead.
quick. Yeah, I do. I do think that's going to be hard. This is an ideal, man.
Mhm.
Like, I mean, I'm starting from an ideal and giving us steps to work towards something that would work for this country. You know, you start by giving churches um, more sway over politics. That's it. This takes a lot of work to get to an ideal, but this is the ideal that I think would work, and that's having a more founding resemblant America. And I think the fact that I'm allowing, that I'm allowing in my ideal there to even be, states with other churches, and not just say, if I really wanted an ideal, it's like, oh, I want the Vatican to be the government of the United States. No, I mean, that's not going to happen ever. So my point is that reverting back to churches, having religious colonies and having a secular colony, if you want, that's fine. I just think that these, religious colonies should be allowed to live religious life. They should be allowed to create culture. They should have cultural institutions in these places, blah, 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 themselves. It shouldn't be run by this conglomerate of corporations and, secular Jewish leftist atheists that run these institutions.
Yeah, I think some people would interpret that as loaded, but there is an issue with you know even in the Jewish community. So this is a firestorm that's developed in the last week. There are organizations, including one called the Council of Presidents, that they purport to represent the Jewish community, but they have nothing to do with religion. They're just they're lay organizations with
Yeah.
various, like, including the ADL, including what's another one, the Jewish federations, that they do more local work. So they selected a president for their next term. She's supposed to be apparently extremely hostile to Israel, apparently, which now there's going to be a lot of flutter in the chat. But in
Based.
any case, so there's this issue with them that they selected a woman who's so hostile to traditional Jewish communities that some of the members of that organization are going to just break off, meaning member organizations. So these organizations are so, like, while I think the goal that I'm talking about is completely different from what you are about, I certainly don't support, like, organizations that say, well, we support a community because we have a very large donor base. We have nonprofit status already confirmed with
Yeah.
the IRS and whoever else. And we also have a very good Rolodex, or contact list of people that we can get to appear as speakers. So
Well, look, this is a
yeah.
situation. This is a situational thing for me. If it was another ethnic minority that with different values than I have in power, I would object to that too. It doesn't
Mhm.
matter. What matters is there are people with a ethnic interest that has no consideration for my Christian identity, and those people with with these ethnic goals, for example, religious tolerance is not any goal in Christianity at all whatsoever. The whole idea is to evangelize and convert people to the faith. No Jew is ever going to want to encourage Christian evangelization in America. I mean, that's just stupid. Why would they ever do that?
Well,
So
no,
it's not.
no,
I'm
no
not. To me,
religion, no religion wants to advocate for a different belief system.
Right.
Or,
That's my
yeah.
only point here is that like and these aren't religious Jews, by the way, in Hollywood, but they worship their ethnicity. That's their thing. They are ethnic Jews that care about their Jewish community, and that's their God.
I would disagree with that. That's because I know these people. I'm sure you might know these people too. I'm not saying you don't, but
Bruh, I mean
m-
the level of nepotism in Jewish businesses is insane.
right.
You can't
But
even
that's
tell me
not
that.
that's not a Jewish identity because the people
But why are
who
they hiring them then? Why are they hiring other Jews and not more non-Jews?
because it's familiarity with the people that are getting hired.
That's what I just said.
That's not, but hiring someone in your family is not the same as hiring someone because
No, they're not
they're
hiring
Catholic.
people in. They're not hiring people in their family. They're hiring other Jews over non-Jews. It's not just family members. That's my point. And when I say nepotism, I know why you're thinking I'm thinking family because I said the word nepotism, but it's ethnic nep. I mean, do you want me to use the right word? I mean, it's the left's definition of racism is what it is. They're just not hiring people because they're not Jewish. That they'll hire people they'll hire if there's a Jewish person with the same credentials as somebody who's non-Jewish with the same credentials, you're going to hire the Jewish person because they have a tribe mentality, just like African Americans do, just like everybody else does. Now, I'm not saying they agree with other sects of it. You know what I mean? I don't think that Reform Jews treat Hasidic Jews well and vice versa. But what I am saying is that in society, the Jew will get the leg up in a Jewish company. But it's the same
What
thing with
I'm
Catholic.
saying is this: it's the same as if you are a member of a frat and there's a person who's a senior officer in a company who's also in that frat. They might look at your application as stronger.
Yeah, and what if that's the Jewish frat that they joined
Could
while
be
they
the
were in
Jewish
college?
frat. It
Well,
could
no,
be.
that's what it is. That's
Yeah.
what it is.
But
That's my point.
by the same
That's my
token,
point.
that's why you would agree with me that a lot of the frats, all of the frats, try to recruit people because they say our network is strong. I'm not talking
Mm-hmm.
just about the Jewish frats.
But you understand. All my only point is there's an ethnic component to why Jews are dominating cultural institutions. First off, they're very smart. I'm going to just say that. I mean, the average IQ is 115. That they're very smart people. That's one reason. The other reason is that they help their community grow, while white people are discouraged from helping their community grow. I mean, can you not disagree with that? They are when can whites advocate for other whites?
I think there is there is like a double standard with
Right.
respect to white people.
And this is
But
just I should say non-Jewish white people, just in case there's some Jews in the audience that are like, well, I'm white, but I'm just a Jewish white person. It's like, okay, fine, whatever.
I mean, my dad wanted to get promoted in his company several times, and he was refused promotion for. Well, he was first of all because he was active in the union, and by the way, I'm pretty anti-union, but he was refused promotion both because of that and because his English was supposedly poor, even though a lot of the people that were getting hired were, they were, basically illiterate too, and or getting promoted. So I think it certainly depends on the circumstance. I know what you're talking about. That there's Hollywood companies like Sony Pictures.
That's all.
With
Okay,
that,
so hold
right?
on. So Sony Pictures is not one of them. Sony Pictures is a Japanese company, from what I understand. More like Disney. I mean, how long has Disney had Jewish executive boards? Like,
I think
yeah,
since the '90s, probably.
you're going back. And that's my point for like 20. Whoa, is it just happened that all the creative Disney content creators for children just have the most qualified people all just happen to be Jewish and they're all getting hired for the 30 years straight? Get out of here, man. There's a certain level of intellectual honesty that people have to have. And I'm not saying you're being dishonest, by the way, but just in general as a society. And and like I said, I get why Jews are promoting like these values that go against Christianity. They're not Christians. Why would they? So I mean, like I'm not blaming them or anything like that. But I am saying is I would prefer a ruling class in my country that at least has like close to similar values as I do, and it's not happening. They're not. The Passion of the Christ got like completely ripped for an Academy Award because of the Academy's Jewish bias. So I mean, there's plenty of instances here of cultural institutions being members of an ethnic minority being a problem. So, and that's it. It's ethnic minorities should not be in charge of a nation's cultural institutions, media, be it media, entertainment, or banking, or anything like that. I mean, it just shouldn't be.
So here's a question that I have. I know we got way off topic because Kat Assman probably wouldn't be talking about Hollywood and stuff like that.
We actually talk about real stuff.
Yeah, I guess we do. I wasn't even expecting this.
Not even Joe. Joe likes to do butt stuff. It was like so that was the other thread.
So anyway, I mean it's credit that you're being honest with your views here, but so you're saying that minority groups should not be, I guess, the arbiters of culture, and I agree with that. I agree that,
yeah.
But I don't believe that there should be arbiters of culture. I think that the market should determine it. I don't think that, for example, when they gave Moonlight the
who has the money to hold on,
let me finish that point. So Moonlight got the Oscar for Best Picture a couple years ago, which was a movie about these two gay black dudes, and I think maybe like 10 million people saw that movie, and I was like, if a movie is something that most people didn't see, probably would never want to see because it's not an interesting movie, then it shouldn't get the Oscar.
Yeah.
So I don't believe I think most people would say, oh, we don't believe the Academy Awards is a real standard for quality anymore, and therefore its reputation has gone down. So I think that the market's working in that respect, and that eventually the industry is going to pop, the bubble is going to pop. You obviously are shaking your head.
Yeah, well, I mean, you're making another point right now. So my point is that the market's not going to, because the arbiters of culture aren't going to. They don't care more about money than putting their ethnicity in danger. And I know the Jewish attitude. I have plenty of Jewish friends. The Jewish attitude is, if we let these Christians in and let them take over the things of culture, we're in danger of another Holocaust. I've heard this from tons of people. And like, I get why somebody would be afraid of another Holocaust. I mean, sure. I don't just to get this out of the way. No, I don't deny the Holocaust or anything like that. It's ridiculous. So like, spare that discussion from anybody in the comments. What I want to set straight here is that the market isn't going to work because they're going to put their ethnic survival above market loss. And what they'll do is they'll just draw it back a little bit and then inject it back in again. That's what they've been doing for years. I mean, there was a big cutback on nudity in the 30s as opposed to the 20s, for example. In entertainment culture, there's the same thing you can see happening in the 60s as opposed to the 50s. There's different generations, so they'll draw it back for a little while and then they'll inject it back in a little bit more over time. And I'm not saying Jews are the only ones doing this either. It's just progressives in general. But these progressive people that get into cinema tend to be the one of the ethnicity that feels it's in danger of death.
Right, but there is a Christian cinema movement that they had.
Yeah, but it sucks.
I'm not gonna say.
It sucks.
You say it sucks, but what do you? So my solution, and just hear me out for a second.
Well, hold on. Well, give me a second here. No, and what happens when a Christian dare be good at making movies? Mel Gibson happens.
And he's made more movies.
He's made more movies, but he's ostracized there. He can't get awards. He's given no credit at all in Hollywood at all.
I think you're focused. Like, I agree that some of his movies should have. Like, I saw We Were Soldiers. I thought that was a good movie. So I'm not disputing with you that his movies are good, and
no, his movies are some of the best.
Yeah, he has great movies, but I think that the point of him making movies is beyond getting, prizes and accolades for it. I think it is. By the way, I think it's kind of ridiculous to ostracize Mel Gibson when you have people giving standing ovations for Roman Polanski.
Yeah, exactly. That's a great point.
Like Mel Gibson, what's the worst thing he did? I think he said things that were like retarded, but what's the worst thing he did? He had a DUI, right? what's the worst thing that Roman Polanski did? Didn't he rape an underage woman?
Yeah, he
an
slept with
underage
like a
girl?
17 or 16-year-old girl,
Right,
or something like that.
And there are there's things that people say that happened with Sharon Tate that are sort of speculation, but yeah, I think that Hollywood is definitely a bankrupt institution in terms of quality and in terms of who they keep as their company. And I don't know if that's ever going to change, because we've had for decades, this type of, the same type of attitude you're talking about, where it's all about profits and also about pushing boundaries in order to get more profits. And
they're missing the other aspect of it, though. It's not just profits and pushing boundaries. It's to progress the culture of the nation that they're living in, to keep them safe from another genocide. That's in there. They inject their values into their movies. You can't make a movie without injecting your values into it. It takes away from the creativity.
But which value? So they're not pushing Jewish values, though.
Well, they're pushing. Yes, they are. They're pushing tribal values that protect minorities, because they are one. That's my point that I'm making.
I would say that's actually, if you look at the values that are being pushed.
Oh, come on, for example,
dude.
Look at some of the movies. Look at some of the most promoted movies. Look at Inglourious Bastards. Mm-hmm. Look at Schindler's List. They didn't even design the gas chambers the way they actually look. They made them look like actual gas chambers.
Look at Straight Outta Compton.
What about
Straight Outta Compton? Who's the big villain? Their Jewish manager. If you look at Casino,
that was directed by a black man, though. Who? That still promotes the agenda of, well, we need to trust ethnic minorities. They are oppressed in this country. As long as that's the narrative, the broad narrative, it's still being said.
But they were dumping on the Jew in that movie.
So what? That doesn't hurt them at all. That doesn't hurt them at all, because in the end, the black people in America view that as, oh, he's Jewish, but he's still Jewish. The Jewish and white are the same thing. The black people, they're white. They're evil, racist white people. That's it. And the liberal white person that's like this I want to be hip with the black guys people is always the Jewish kid. It's in all those movies. It's just white guys. They're just white guys to them. So no, I don't see it. Now, I'm not saying all black people believe. There's some that obviously see the difference, and honestly, some of them are extremely hateful of Jewish people. But like that's just what it is. So it's still pushing forward that agenda that ethnic minorities are awesome, they're great, and we owe them because we need to keep them safe because of all the horrible things that were done, blah blah blah. It's that same narrative. It doesn't matter if the bad guy was Jewish; he's still viewed as white by the culture.
I think if you go back and watch that film, and I know it's only one example, I would strongly disagree with the way. So I think he was portrayed blatantly as Jewish, especially given the way that he reacted.
He blatantly was Jewish in right. Like that. That's the character. This was a representation of real events.
You're making this characterization that the black audiences are not perceptive enough to realize that the Jewish character is distinct from the other white characters.
I think it's frozen right now.
Can you hear me?
Let me see.
Hold on, Joe can't hear me. Might have to restart this call. Hold on, I'll have to see if I can restart this call. Is he back? Guess it's only me. I guess I censored the alternative view. No, it wasn't me. It was Hollywood that did it. Hold on. I'll try to get him back.
All right, I'm back. I don't know what happened there. My internet crapped out.
Okay, yeah.
So, are we still going live on YouTube?
Yeah, we're still on YouTube Live.
Cool. All right. So, is there anybody chatting right now?
Yeah, on my screen there's 5 or 6 people there, but
Well, I mean, I can't see anything on. Well, I guess I can look on Facebook, but let's see what we got.
I mean, on yours there's no comments, so
There's nothing on mine?
no.
Okay, so people are just watching from mine then on our end. Okay, good stuff. All right, so just going back, this is why I didn't want to do a YouTube one. I wanted to do it on Facebook so people would just tune in, but
Right, and I would have said we could download it and then re-upload it on your Facebook, but if this wasn't a week where
we're not taking live questions or anything though, which is
yeah, that sucks. Although my people could still submit questions if they want. So at this point, just put in your questions for Joe, who is the Groypertaker, and then of course we don't have Snitch Benoit to respond today because he's a bitch.
He's not going to do nothing. He's not even going to debate me. I'm guaranteeing it already.
So
let's go back. We should probably go back to that topic, by the way.
Right. Yeah. So we've established that me and you agree on very little, even except maybe that Mel Gibson has some good films. But so with him, what do you think is his goal for this debate? Like, why would he even try to go? Because like when I was watching this, I think I can pull it up, but it would show the people in the comments. Is that okay?
Yeah, no, they're all going to be public in the debate. Everybody in the group, so it's fine. I mean,
okay.
You know what I mean.
So where do you remember, like in terms of time, did they really start to go after you? Should we just start playing it?
Yeah, let's just go like towards just like about halfway through maybe.
Okay, so I'm going to 51 minutes.
Very few kids got jobs in the East Coast, but even like at
I
IU.
guess I should probably pull up the YouTube stream, shouldn't I?
Oh, there's a YouTube stream for it?
Well, no, you have your YouTube stream. No, I'm talking about you should pull it up. While you're pulling up the video, I'm going to pull up the YouTube stream.
Right, but it'll be in delay.
Of your video. It'll be on a delay, I know, but then I can see the questions at least.
Okay. All right, let me know when to start.
Well, you can start whenever. I already watched it.
More kids get jobs in the East Coast, so I would imagine like at Penn State, it's probably like a ton on the East Coast, but also Chicago as well.
Well, I mean, everyone on the East Coast goes to Penn State because.
Holy shit. He actually just commented.
I think our point of view, anyways,
on your post. So you can let me know what he said.
Because I love Philly, I love New York, I love DC. Penn State is cool because it has such like perfect.
Okay.
What's it called? It's such a perfect geographical location.
Oh crap! So okay, so is there any way to get the sound on my end?
What do you mean, through Zoom?
Yeah. Well, I just want to be able to hear the video. I can't hear the video, so I can't comment on anything I can't hear.
There was I think Ophir sent me one time this site where you can listen simultaneously, but I don't think you can use Facebook with it. I think you can only use YouTube. So this might be kind of you listening with your headphones to the stream off of YouTube.
Oh jeez. Okay, we'll try it.
All right, you want me to keep going? They're talking about, so the guy's talking about at this point how Penn State's so awesome, because they have no problem with institutions that cover up, pedophilia. So thought I'd throw that in there. What?
I don't even understand that point.
What?
What did he say? What did he say?
He was talking about how. No, I was making a joke there because the other guy was talking about how Penn State's so awesome. And then remember the Jerry Sandusky scandal?
Yeah.
So if Penn State's so awesome, why didn't he pick a different college that never has had that issue?
Because he's probably just like Sandusky.
Oh, shots fired there. Are you sure? I think I have to go further. When did they start talking about you?
Yeah,
Confidence that I
Just
can't
go through
understand
it, 'cause
why
like I said, I can't
someone
hear-
like
I
him
can't
would
hear
have
you,
that.
so.
Okay, I think I found the right sweet spot. Okay, so I'm going to start watching here. And can I press play now?
Yeah, you're fine.
Okay.
People. I don't think Joe's actually that intelligent to recognize he can exploit it, but I think the reason he's been able to find a little bit of success in what he does on Facebook is because he has this fringe views, and there are some people, and a lot of them are afraid to speak up. But Joe has this unwarranted confidence. He has this confidence that I can't understand why someone like him would have that confidence, and I think it's just because he's trying to cover up those insecurities.
Oh yeah, no, like a guy like that isn't confident, because if he was, he would be like real with you, you know? He would be open and he would make fun of himself, which he does not. He's very insecure. He's hiding a lot of his insecurities, a lot of his pains, you know, and people on the right, like a lot of these guys that go to the far right or go to the far left, they don't do that because that's necessarily what they believe. They do that because they find comfort in being militaristic, because then that gives them this, you know, this cause, this fight, this honorable fight against oppression, against, you know, degeneracy in society. I am worth something because I stand against the degeneracy and the destruction
can you pause
of Western value.
Yeah, I can pause. Let's pause now.
Okay. So what was said?
He was saying that you have this perspective where you're fighting against the degeneracy in society.
And it's not a perspective. I am. This is my problem. Is like, what do we live in a propositional moral world? Why do we have any laws at all then? That doesn't even, what he's saying doesn't make any sense. What he's doing is positing his own morality and pulling from it that mine is fake and his is not. That's ridiculous. I mean, I don't know how else to put that. It's not a perspective that I'm fighting degeneracy. It's an objective fact. Especially when I'm talking about going up like against like the porn industry and stuff, which is proven to be riddled with human trafficking, sex abuse, just physical abuse in general whatsoever of women that get involved in it, coercion to get paid. And these are with the big companies, by the way. Apparently there was like August, what is it? August something?
I'm not
August
aware.
Ames?
Let me know.
Yeah, it's like August Ames or something. You know, she was coerced. She committed suicide, by the way, because of how horrible she was treated by these pornographers at Brazzers, which is owned by MindGeeks, which is also the owner of Pornhub. So these people that are running it, which, by the way, another majority Jewish industry, because most Christians would not get involved in pornography. I mean, for obvious reasons. Just their morals don't call for it, and this is the situation that we're in right now. And once again, these Jews are not religious Jews. Religious Jews are socially conservative. I agree with them on that. What I disagree with religious Jews is foreign policy stuff. Typically, if I don't disagree with them on foreign policy stuff, they're all right. The only problem is they reject Christ, and I have a problem with that. That's about it. So. You know, that's it. Become Catholic. That's my only problem with a religious Jew that shares my foreign policy views and my social values. But going back to what I was saying before, I honestly like this guy. This guy's like talking about me fighting degeneracy. Of course I am. And I'm going to keep doing it. And I don't care how that smooth-faced retard thinks about it, how he feels about it. It doesn't matter to me. So...
So Fear is bringing up that there are, like, Hugh Hefner apparently is not Jewish. I thought he was Jewish, but Larry Flint, I think Larry Flint died.
So bringing up exceptions to a rule doesn't change much.
Well, these are pretty big exceptions, dude.
Oh, come
Bob
on.
Guccione. Bob Guccione was a porn king.
I didn't say that Christians didn't do it.
Right, but the issue is
but what about the owners of the porn websites?
I think in the modern era, in terms of computer porn, I think there is a lot of I mean, I know Joe Francis is Catholic, but aside from him, I know that there are a lot of Jewish porn directors and producers. So But I'm saying that this was a commenter who was bringing it up.
Yeah, no, I understand what they're saying. These are exceptions. These are also much older pornography organizations they're not the biggest pornographers ever. None of them have even come close to the money that Pornhub or any of these other companies make. So that's not true.
Right, but you're talking about the model changing.
Well, like I said, the abuse and stuff. I mean, like I said, it became easier now because we're in the modern era, dude. Like we're in this modern
right,
era.
But if you
and
were,
I'm not, and
if
by
you
the
were
way,
living in
I'm not,
1975, you wouldn't have had a different perspective when porn was on magazine stands or on
no,
38,
of course not.
8mm film than now. So
Of
your
course
objection is more grounded in the fact that it's part of your religious doctrine, and then it's a bigger problem now because of the technology. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. It's a bigger problem now because of the technology, and the people currently running the technology are running it because they don't have any religious values. And that's
but
it.
They didn't have religious values at the time either. I don't think that.
Yeah,
that's
but they
changed.
were. But the amount of human trafficking and abuse wasn't happening because there wasn't nearly as much porn. How many porn stars were there in 1975 as opposed to how many porn stars there are now? We're talking about the
accessibility. The accessibility.
No, we're not talking about the accessibility. We're talking about the abuse and human trafficking.
No, when a market becomes more, how should I say it, opportunistic, right? When there's more opportunity in a market, there's more demand for performers, right? So if you build more theaters and there's more demand for tickets, then there's going to be more demand for. What the fuck happened to this stream?
The stream's still going.
Okay, yeah, it's just a stupid screen here. Fucking YouTube. So what I'm saying here is that I agree with you that there is obviously a moral contradiction for people who are saying, well, porn is this harmless industry, and it's just people doing what they want, and people should, you're bringing up issues. There's STDs. Did you mention STDs already?
No, I didn't even bring up STDs.
So STDs is an issue that I think even the most freedom-loving person would say, you don't want people giving each other AIDS.
It's not, but it's not just that. There's been issues of gay porn stars, of women porn stars being forced to have sex with male porn stars that were gay and did a lot of gay porn scenes in the past, and they were worried about HIV, and they said, you're going to have sex with this person, or we're never going to do another video with you, and you're fired forever.
And they got AIDS.
Well, I don't know if they got AIDS.
I think that there was a case where one of them got AIDS.
Okay, yeah. Well,
it was bound
to happen eventually, but you're right.
I think so. So I think it's completely valid, for people to, expose just like there was exposing abuse in, the meatpacking industry in the 1920s. There's no problem talking about the porn industry. You should expose the abuses here. What you're talking about is banning porn, though.
No, I'm talking about banning the production of it because it can't be done morally.
Right.
It can't be done.
So and that's just to clarify it. Okay.
And by the way, all these libertarians in the chat are going to be like, "Oh, how are you going to police all that porn?" It's like, yeah, well, how are you going to police a safe porn industry? It would be just as labor intensive to do both. So you might as well just get rid of the thing that's causing the degeneracy to begin with. And by the way, this way you end the destruction of male sexual development in this country, which is lowering sperm counts, all these other things. There's actually a bunch of studies. I can't cite them off the top of my head, but there's some on my posts that I'll share later that show the mental issues that come from excessive pornography viewing.
Lowering male fertility, you're saying?
On male fertility. On male fertility, on going out and getting and finding a woman to be with. It promotes isolation. It promotes social awkwardness. All these things. I mean, like, it's pretty easy to spot a chronic masturbator, don't you think?
Why? Because they're stuck to their door when they're trying to.
You know what I mean? Their right arm is like 10 times the size of their left.
They're like a fiddler crab.
Yeah, but my point is you can tell that they're like when somebody is going to a Sexaholics Anonymous meeting, they're all a little off. That's the point. And what we're doing is we're getting millions of people hooked on this at the same time. This is one of the things where I'm just pointing out that there is a lot of people that are members of an ethnic minority controlling a huge and powerful cultural institution in this country. I never said that Christians never did it. I never said anything like that. So everything going on in the comments right now, no one cares.
Right, you're pointing it out, but I'm saying that you're not talking about it as just an advocate. You want to change public
No, not
policy.
you. I'm talking about the questioners right now. I'm following the feed right now.
Okay,
so the feed people are all saying Jews did. There was this Christian guy, that Christian guy. Yes, that's all anecdotal, right? So I just
aside from the people in the comments, though, you do want to change public policy towards porn. It's not just an issue of discouraging people to use porn. You want to change public policy towards porn and have it become.
You can't change people's opinion on porn. They don't care. They're selfish. They're self-interested beings. If they can get their hands on porn, they're going to watch it. They don't care the horrible things that happen for it to be made. The same thing, they don't care about what horrible things happen to the cow they eat in their burger. I mean, this is the nature of humanity. They need to be cultivated morally. They can't. They're not just moral. You can't just expect them to be moral.
All right. So let me see. There are some comments. Lennon says in California it's okay to spread HIV.
Yeah, Lennon's right, by the way, about that. That it's legal to transmit HIV to other people.
Yeah, insane. It was recently decriminalized. He also said Playboy may have been a deep state op. I think you've seen Ophir's comments already. You're well aware of those.
Yeah, Ophir, I'm done answering his questions on this. I mean,
He says Russia makes tons of porn. Do they make tons of porn still?
I never said Russia.
Research project for tomorrow. So I'm just kidding.
I never said Russia was a bastion of morality. What the heck? I mean, like, dude, they're not. They just got done being communist for 60 years. They're not even a fully Christian country again yet. So I don't know what they're talking about. The Orthodox Church is making a comeback there. People are becoming religious there again, which is something that should be happening in the U.S. as well. But it's still, I believe, a majority secular country. So it kind of makes sense. I don't think religious Jews are going out there and making porn. I never said that. So, get your facts straight. Jews that are religious have values to a certain extent. Not always the right ones, but they at least have values. I don't think they're going to be going out and making pornos. So we're talking about secular Jews here. And if you're talking about secular Russia, they probably are making porn. So it doesn't even matter. And I don't know what mean Flint had the law changed. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if a Christian changed the law or doesn't change the law. The point is that an ethnic minority that does not care about the majority populace of the country that they're living in is in charge of a cultural institution within that nation. That doesn't make sense to me.
So what would be your proposed change in order to stop this happening?
Yeah, this guy is just this guy.
Well, you can ignore the chat. This
guy is just like completely off the rails here. I think I've responded to his questions enough. You're right.
No, but to my question though.
Yeah, what was your question?
The question of whether, like, what would be your proposal of how to affect the change of removing the influence of these, or not just the influence, you're saying the control of these cultural institutions by religious minorities.
Well, I mean, my only point is that we should take them back.
But what does that mean, taking them back?
It just means I don't know. I mean, we have to make laws. We have to break up the monopolies that exist. I mean, let's break up Pornhub. Let's break up Brazzers. Let's break up these giant porn companies that are making all this money.
So you would diversify the porn industry then? In terms of, I'm saying, diversify in terms of.
Well, this is what I'm talking about. Is these are companies
apply antitrust
that I
law.
Want to break up. Apply antitrust law, and I'm just giving an example.
Okay.
And then you ban the production after you break them up completely. So this is a two-step process. You start by busting them with antitrust law, and then after you bust the companies and get rid of them completely, you then go and you ban the production of it, and you police it the same way you would try to police human trafficking or any other industry that's engaging in human trafficking or business coercion or anything like that.
You don't see any similarities between that and the drug war and prohibition?
No, because people that can't access it on their phones are just not. You're just going to go do something else. It's not like drugs where it's not like drugs like in the sense that you are physically addicted to it or you're going to. It's a mental addiction. So in other words, if you don't have any access to it, It's a little different.
Okay, so I think we've belabored that point, and we've sort of, skewed the stream to a completely different thing. Do you want to keep going on? I mean, it is 10 o'clock.
I want to talk about Matt. That's why.
Okay.
Yeah,
sorry.
The debate that we're going to be having.
All right. So
I don't know why we're debating on this.
So for those in the chat, we are going to have a debate at a certain point, correct, Joe, between me and him. But today is about Cat Assman, so I'm pressing play again.
And it's like, no, you dumbass. The people who stand against Western values are the Christian mercenaries that carry AK-47s to go fight ISIS in the Middle East. While you sit at home typing on your Facebook and your Instagram. Fucking
I
weirdo.
just have to laugh at the name of the media company he works for. It's like Christian Militant. It's either Catholic or Christian Militant or Church Militant.
You know what a Christian Militant is? Christian Militant is a guy that opens his chest up and he's loaded with dynamite. That's Christian Militant. You're just a troll on the internet.
Well, and that's the thing too, is the title doesn't make sense. You know for a fact that his boss is still gay. You don't change that.
I actually have no idea who his boss is. Like, I don't even know who this guy. Like this guy.
I don't know who he is too, but someone said that
wait. So I know I keep interrupting.
Did you say to stop it, Joe?
Well, I didn't know you were listening.
Oh, sorry. I think we should go back. You said a bunch of crap about your boss. All right, I'm gonna press play. And are you listening to the stream?
No, I'm not. I'm not listening to the videos. So hold on, let me.
I am at. Holy shit. Okay, I'm still at the correct mark, I think. So Larry joined late. He's asking who are these teenagers in the video. So while Joe finds the stream again, Joe is Groyper or a proto-Groyper, and he's in a feud with the gentleman on the left of the screen who is going to debate him on Friday on Facebook Live. And it's mainly because this person blew a gasket and started accusing Joe of a lot of personal issues that there's no evidence of so far. So, are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is freaking hilarious.
Degeneracy in society. I am worth something because I stand against the degeneracy and the destruction of Western values.
What?
And it's like, no, you dumbass. The people who stand against Western values are the Christian mercenaries that carry AK-47s to go fight ISIS in the Middle East. While you sit at home typing on your Facebook and your Instagram. Fucking
I
weirdo.
just have to laugh at the name of the media company he works for. It's like Christian Militant. It's either Catholic or Christian Militant or Church Militant.
You know what a Christian Militant is? Christian Militant is a guy that opens his chest up and he's loaded with dynamite. That's Christian Militant. You're just a troll on the internet.
Well, and that's the thing too, is the title doesn't make sense. You know for a fact that his boss is still gay. You don't change that.
I actually have no idea who his boss is. Like, I don't even know who this guy. Like this guy.
I don't know who he is too, but someone said that
wait. So I know I keep interrupting you. I apologize for that. So some guy, I don't know who it was. He looked like Hagrid from Harry Potter, but he basically was like his buddy. And he was saying like, well, Joe, of course, is going places. He works for a prestigious right wing.
All right, stopped.
Oh my God. Okay, I'm not listening. I'm not listening to that. I'm ignoring the chat right now. I've been told that I'm going to bring back the Catholic Inquisition. I don't know. I don't know how I can engage.
Hold on.
We've
moved on. We've moved back.
Yeah, we're moved on from this Ophir. Shut up. Nobody wants to hear about this anymore. Like, dude, you're insane. Anyways, going
ignore
forward,
the chat for a second.
I'm ignoring it. Going forward, the point that I was getting at was that this guy was talking about a Christian militant is somebody that opens up his jacket and has dynamite wrapped around him. What? I don't understand that point.
Well, isn't there an expression like there's the the militant, and then there's two other things. Like I read about it recently. Let me pull it up. There's like
the church triumphant, the church militant, and the
that's the one. So it has like some sort, like he's just using it for.
No. There's
That's not why he's calling.
There's no part of being a church militant that advocates. At least the Catholic. It's church militant is obviously representing the Catholic Church, right?
Right.
So there's nothing that advocates strapping a bomb to your chest or blowing people up.
Well, then he started talking. Now, to be clear though, your boss, I'm not going to use his name here, but he does have a history that he disclosed in his own video about his sexual activity back in the 90s that they're talking about. And they're seeming to say that this invalidates the standing of your organization. So you work for an organization. They're a very traditional Catholic organization. I don't know if you want me to mention it on there, but he already did. In any case, so what do you say to his accusation that your organization is sort of this misrepresentation of Christianity, and also that they think that you know what? It's too ridiculous the way that I heard him say it. I can't even ask you the question. It doesn't make any sense. Because I know what your organization is about, and they have some interesting videos about like some of these. I'm not Catholic, so not all the topics are most of the topics are not relevant to me. So I know that they had a video about St. Pius the 10th Society.
Oh yeah,
that was very
SSPX, the Society of St. Pius X.
Right. It was a very interesting video because that's a breakaway faction of the church.
Right.
So I get it that it might be a very niche publication. So
it really isn't, though. I mean, it's just a traditional Catholic news site. I mean, that's all it is. It's just it's promoting Catholic values, basically, and it's very much against pedophilia being covered up in the church. They expose it themselves when it's going on. They exonerate popes or priests that are falsely accused. So I don't see. It's like they have a problem that this journalism exists, and I question it because we're the top organization that does this.
Yeah, I do see that he's talking a lot about these organizations or these Catholic bodies that allow, for example, priests to keep gay lovers in their living quarters. I think that your boss.
Yeah, I mean, well, you can look at the stories. You can look at the stories on the site. It's all anti-homosexuality, anti-pedophilia. Mm-hmm. It's a very militant organization against those things. And he's implying in his response, right, that this is a stupid and worthless organization. And I'm like, and this is why I'm saying, I was like, well, dude, what do you not want this to exist? Is that what you're saying? And this is serious. Don't you agree with me? Like, that's a serious question.
Well, I think so. This is getting to something that I think is beyond just the scope of today's stream. So I'm not gonna go too far into it, but yeah, I think that definitely, if there's nobody within the Catholic Church that's complaining about pedophilia and homosexual priests, which is against church doctrine, and issues like that, then you can expect the church to improve. You can only continue. I mean, you'll only complain forever because they'll just stay the same way. So it's ironically, it's an ironic word to use, but it's a Reformation movement in a certain way. What's the word? It would be like a restoration movement more than a Reformation movement.
Just say a traditional movement, a traditionalist movement. That's all it is. We're trying to support the traditional teachings of the church.
So yeah, the issue of whether the church should be, policing the members of the clergy, I think is academic. I mean, if there's no standard for who's going to wear the cloth, then what's the point of having the institution? So yeah, I would agree with you. Either the Catholic Church imposes the standards that it preaches in what is it, the Catechism?
Yeah.
So
The magisterium is a more accurate term because that includes the culmination of all the doctrines that exist. The Catechism actually isn't an infallible book. The Catechism is a summarized version of the magisterium.
So right. So if the magisterium is just being flouted by the church, then it's sort of just a church in name only.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
So yeah, I think, it's just not, he's not really talking about anything like, yeah, I was watching the stream for about 25 minutes yesterday. It wasn't the part that we were watching. And it was basically talking about how you're not what conservatism is about. You're only bringing the movement down. You're hurting the MAGA movement and everything. And this is something. So my personal response to that would be, I don't believe personally, me meaning bold like a leopard. I don't believe in subscribing to movements just so they can speak for you. So I would say that I respect your choice to say things that are contrary to what the official Republican Party says, and go further and criticize them from within, because you're not beholden to them. You're not some sort of automaton. But obviously you come from a different perspective, because you're saying that conservative values are what you're preaching and what he's preaching are not.
Well, what he's preaching aren't conservative values. Like I said, you have to ask yourself, what does conservative mean? It means those that conserve what? What is he conserving? That's what I have to ask. He's not conserving the values of this country that traditionally existed. He's not conserving Western culture. He's trying to progress it forward, which would make him the opposite of a conservative, which is a progressive. So I mean, like, this is a relatively simple question that has a simple answer.
Right. So but what what you two are debating, even though what he's doing is not debating, but what this whole problem here, I think we're going to end soon because it's getting late. But
agreed.
The whole issue with him is surrounding the question of not just what conservatism is, but what the MAGA movement and the Republican Party are going to.
If the MAGA movement isn't conservative, then what the heck is it?
Well, I think that Trump has done a lot of things that you could say are not conservative at all. Whether it's fiscal or social conservatism. He, for instance, he nominated, and you in fact shared this. He nominated a person to be his director of national intelligence who is gay, and he said that we're not going to cooperate with countries that criminalize homosexuality, things like that. That's not really a conservative policy. I wouldn't say that it's it's more talking about treatment of other people overseas, but wouldn't you agree that there's a lot of areas where the Trump administration has skewed over to, late 90s liberalism?
Yeah, I mean that's what I don't agree with Trump on. I mean, that's it. It just how loyal do I have to be to this guy to support him being elected over somebody that wants to rip apart babies when they're out of the womb?
Well, I don't think you have to be loyal to anyone. I think that.
No, my point.
I think
is,
you have
listen,
a difficult choice here.
Hold on. So what I'm saying is that yes, he doesn't always do things that are strictly on the conservative, of the conservative byline or whatever you want to say, for it. That's true. But on the other hand, he is the most conservative of any. He's banned transgender people from the military. He has, and since his presidency, support for gay marriage has gone down in the United States, not up.
Defunded Planned Parenthood in many
places. These are conservative ideas, and not only that, his immigration views are old school conservative to a point at which he wants to put a moratorium on immigration. This is a very old view in America, a very traditional view in America. Is that we need to focus on Americans first. America first has been a part of American culture since like the early 1900s. America first is not and by the way, Trump uses the word America first many times. He has many times. So he's not conservative all the time, but he's very conservative as opposed to anyone else in politics.
Well, so here we get to, I don't necessarily only discuss politics on the channel. I've done a lot of book reviews and things like that. So, but we are going to skew into like my personal views. And I think like Trump, I would not consider him a conservative. And hear me out for a second. Given that he does have a very personal tolerance for gay marriage, he's had a lot of these gay figures over the White House. He's engaging in this, how should I phrase it? Liberalizing a lot of the sexual mores because of his personal history. Okay, which I know it might be unfair, but he's been divorced 2 times. Both times it was because of marital infidelity. Those are certainly issues to put into perspective, even across the backdrop. On the other side, you have with the Democrats, you have Biden, who seems to be, feeling up women and young women, and below that, all over the place. So I'm not saying that you have a good choice here, but in terms of his personal example and in terms of many of his policies, I personally would not consider him a conservative. He's definitely more conservative than the other party.
Not even more conservative than the other. He's not conservative on everything, but he has enacted conservatism unlike any Republican ever has, and he's done it effectively. So my point is that in that sense, if we're talking about of politicians, he would be a conservative one. Who if he isn't, then who is? He's the only one that's enacting conservative change.
So yeah, this is getting back to the debate over what conservatism. Like I supported Rand Paul in 2016.
So did I.
And Rand Paul, like one of his main planks was, well, we need to reduce the defense budget, we need to cut spending. Donald Trump has run wild on spending. Donald Trump has also, in many cases, backed up a lot of these foreign aid policies, including the countries we've mentioned, Saudi Arabia, Israel, Turkey, and who else? Fuckload of other countries. I think did he cut back NATO spending, or did he just force the other countries to
he made a deal where they're paying significant. I think it's like 30% more.
But did he reduce our share?
Well, yeah, if they're paying 30% more, then yes.
Okay, so I think there's I think my personal view of him is that he's literally a transactional person. He sees where he can make the most gains, and it's more about, I guess, putting things in the win column than it being an issue of ideology.
This is a. It doesn't matter to me. That doesn't matter. I mean, maybe he's not. I'm saying that he is a conservative president. He is a conservative president. I don't care about what his personal views are. As long as he's a conservative president, he's doing what I want him to do. Would I prefer somebody who is a conservative that enacts conservative policy over somebody who's not a conservative and enacts conservative policy? Sure, but who cares? There's conservative policy either way.
Like I think that
what I like about Trump is that he's effective at moving. He's effective at moving policy forward.
I think in many cases, like you said, for example, when he proposed that the Bible be allowed to be taught in schools, this was an idea that I think if it was proposed 10 years ago by any president, people would have said, "Oh, this is ridiculous. What type of thing? This is a church." And I think Donald Trump he's defied expectations of what sort of policies he would be willing to, what sorts of risks he's willing to take, which is a good thing.
Well, like I said, he does everything the Republicans have been too big of a coward to do. And he doesn't, and yeah, it's probably just to say that he won on the issue. It might be. It could also not be, and he could actually be just very pro-life. He could just be very much against normalizing transgenderism, and that's why he banned transgenders from the military. I don't care. He just did it. That's like I said. Why would I not vote for this guy again? He's awesome at that. So this idea that whether he is or isn't a conservative, he's a conservative, and I think you'll agree with me on this, he is a conservative president if there was ever such thing as one.
Yeah, I would say that in terms of presidents going as far back as Hoover, maybe he's the most conservative.
Yeah,
Right.
and that's it. That was all I was getting at with it, and that's what I mean by Trump is a real conservative president, and we've needed one for a very long time. I would prefer somebody far more conservative, of course, like more somebody that agrees with me on things. But I understand that this is an ideal that I need to strive for, and if Trump is the first step, let's do it. That doesn't mean conceding to gay marriage. That doesn't mean I need to concede on my values or stop promoting my values, which Matt is advocating I do. Not only is he advocating I do that, but he's advocating that I be removed from the internet entirely with like a ban, with banning my reporting my posts and stuff. He wants to get me off of social media. Just all sorts of
Why don't you get
insane.
you fired from your job?
He's not. Well, that ain't gonna happen.
Well,
But
yeah, but originally he was saying, was that him? Somebody was telling people to mob your employer with like emails about what you say.
oh, that was some
Somebody
chick.
else?
That was some chick that said she was gonna email my boss because I was fat phobic.
Okay.
I was like, I mean, okay, my boss is a fitness guy, so you're gonna have a hard time convincing him that. But that was funny. That was just hilarious. Yeah, they were attacking one of my friends, and I was kind of just like defending her. So, but
So
yeah,
so yeah, I would say so. My last question, and I guess we'll conclude after that. So yeah, so Trump is, in your mind, he's as conservative of a president as we've experienced. But of course, he's only gonna be in office for a couple more years. 5 years at the most. So where do you see your movement, whatever movement it is? Where do you see them progressing after that? Do you see any people that would be prospective flag carriers for that movement? And what do you think the first priority would be?
yeah. I mean, like I said, what we have to do is remind people that it's okay to identify as a Christian. It's okay to have a Christian identity. It's okay to have a white whatever ethnicity you are identity.
Mm-hmm.
That is who you are, and you shouldn't be ashamed of it. That's the first thing. If you can mobilize people in that way under a populist pro-America idea, where the founding stock of the nation, which includes African Americans as part of the founding stock of the nation, would be essentially a nation that is geared towards them because they are the posterity of the nation. You know what I mean? They're the ones that create the culture that is uniquely American. A Jewish person, a Mexican is not going to be able to create uniquely American culture the way a European American or a African American could. They just can't. Their history lies elsewhere. And that goes to myself, by the way. I mean, my grandmother was an immigrant from Scotland. Yes, she was very American and assimilated pretty well. But there's still things about my identity. It's be like, I'm Scottish too. Or I should say I'm Irish. She was Irish and lived in Scotland. So I'm Irish too. So it's something about that where you should focus on the founding stock of the nation. Those are the people that should be running the cultural institutions because that's what keeps America American. I don't want to make America something else. I'm not a progressive. I am a conservative.
All right, so I think that was a good last word. Again, so this is Joe Enders. This debate of yours is going to be on Facebook, so there's
Yeah,
no
it's going to
link.
be Friday. Do you know when it's going to be? It's going to be on Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
So yeah, his you can find him on Facebook, Joe Enders the second, like with the Roman numerals, right?
Yeah, Joe Enders II. You can go ahead and follow me, and yeah, I mean this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna try out this debate, and Matt's already flipping out about how there's like so few people watching my stream right now. And it's just like, well, yeah, we were trying. Me and I don't know. I don't want to say your name on here.
Just Bold.
Okay, me and Bold were going to try to do it on Facebook, but the technology wasn't working with us today. So that's the only reason that happened.
Right, and I'll explain. So I'll give my last word and a personal message to Matt. So I don't agree with literally almost anything that Matt's talking about, but you could see we went what, an hour? Is it 2.5 hours?
My name ain't Matt.
Sorry. So I'm with Joe here. So my message. No, but this is my message to Matt. Did I call
Yeah,
you
your
Matt?
message. You called me Matt.
Okay. Sorry, Joe. So me and Joe have been talking offline and online and on the stream for over 2 hours. We disagree on a lot. He said some stuff about things that I disagree with that I thought, but the fact is, I didn't flip out on him and I didn't like attack him and use ad hominems and call him, a fat ass that would sit on me and choke me to death and accuse his boss of being, some sort of degenerate or anything. That's the way that you have a civil conversation. That's what I think. You're trying to defend the reputation of the MAGA movement from people like Joe. Well, you should probably defend it from people like yourself, because like, this guy is a complete idiot.
Wait! Guess who just joined the stream?
Yeah, I just saw it.
Okay, we got to keep going a little bit.
Well,
This is comical.
The
Thought you
fact-
said you weren't
the
going to
fact
watch my
is-
stream, sweetheart.
So if you can't get people who are libertarians who oppose the Groypers to be on your side, then obviously you're going to lose this debate to the Groyper. You're going to do harm to whatever organization you're with, and you're going to be an embarrassment, Matt. So that's my prediction, and I don't know you that well, but I have fair confidence that you're not going to do very well, even though normally I would probably root against Joe here. So that's about it.
So you're rooting for me?
Well, fuck the other guy. That's what am I supposed to? Fuck that guy. I mean, the only context I know him from is from just going onto your stupid posts and trying to tell people that you're gay. That's it. That's the only way. That's all.
All right. So for and this will be funny too. So do you think that I'm gay? I'm just curious. And don't be a dick, by the way.
I don't think that you're gay.
I was just curious. I'm just I don't know. But his sister is in here just sending laugh reacts right now. This is Matt. This is
I can see his sister. If his sister thinks that it's hilarious that somebody
it's not going to be hilarious when he can't be hired.
Right. So then the explanation for that is that they think that people are so persecuted for being gay nowadays that they would join a militantly hardcore anti-gay organization just to avoid being gay. I'm sorry, I don't believe that that's the way America is anymore. I don't think it would happen. I think it's too ridiculous. Even though I've seen Joe put some like ridiculous stuff on his wall, I think that it's really it's projection. That's all I can say.
I think Jennifer has a crush on me, so that might be what the issue is here. That's fine though. I mean, it doesn't matter.
We believe in harmony here. We believe in a society where people can, exchange views and not throw blatant insults at each other about things that supposedly you can't control. I mean, if you're alleging that Joe is gay and that people can't control whether they're gay or not, you're attacking an immutable characteristic of his, which would be something that would be considered intolerant, right? That's supposedly what you guys are saying about what the movement needs to be about. So then you're being the bigot there.
But and here's the best part is that he justifies that by saying that he's just doing it because I'm a bully. And I'm just curious, who do you think's been bullying in this situation? Has it really been me? Have I really been bullying this kid? I mean, maybe intellectually, but not on a real level. Who's being bullied? It sounds like I'm the one being bullied. If anything, he's doing a very bad job.
I don't think you'd be like, if you were bullying him, I don't think he would be going back on your posts and like trying to troll you back. I think, being bullied implies that you would be in fear of the person and try to avoid them. So I don't think you're bullying him at all.
Well, yeah, but I think that he is bullying me. I do think that he's bullying me in the sense that he's trying to he's trying to report my posts and get me banned. He's trying to assassinate my character, trying to say that I'm actually a homosexual, even though I've had multiple girlfriends, long-term relationships. He's saying that I've what else did he say? He made fun of me for fasting on Good Friday. which I don't know if you know much about like how important Good Friday is, but
I actually, until that, I think I did see that thread, and I wasn't aware that you fast on Good Friday until then. But yeah,
yeah.
go ahead.
Yeah, he says what kind, he was saying like what kind of idiot would ever starve themselves for a stupid book or something like that on Good Friday while I was reminding Catholics that you're not supposed to eat today.
Well, I think so. So that's also like ridiculing people's religious beliefs, even if they're religious beliefs. Like if I've worked with people who are Muslim and they're it's during Ramadan. So would he go and say to them, hey, why are you fasting the entire day? Why don't you come down to the cafe and have some bacon, like that guy who did it yesterday? Did you hear about the guy who said that he's fasting on Ramadan for solidarity, and then he put a photo of a piece of bacon that he was using to break the fast in the morning?
No,
You didn't hear about that?
no, I didn't.
Yeah. So yeah, I think like personally, I think people should mind their own business. I don't think that telling people to fast on Good Friday, I don't see any reason to ridicule that. Yeah, I think in that respect, you could call it bullying if he's making fun of a benign post about fasting on Good Friday.
Well, it's more about him that's not a big deal. Him talking badly about my employer with probably I don't know if this is intent, but if he's talking bad about my employer, the intent is probably to get me in trouble with my employer. That's my guess. I don't think I will, but the reporting my posts and trying to get me banned on Facebook. Well, I mean, that is bullying. That's like, you're making me be afraid of having you on my posts because you're going to get me banned and silence my social media. That's what the left does.
So Ophir is saying the Liberal Democrat members of Parliament in the UK are all fasting for Ramadan. So there you go. So apparently it's not so ridiculous to fast, even if you don't believe in the religion. So
he says that I don't like Muslims either, and I'm just like, and he had a problem with me not liking Muslims. Well, I mean, it seems to me that this guy does not like Catholics, and he doesn't like Catholics at all because they promote any Catholic that actually follows Catholicism. He has a hatred for.
Right, and this is why I think that this is like it could be a bigger debate than it will be because I think this debate's going to be kind of a joke between you and him. It's going to be incredibly stupid, and
it's going to be me. It's going to be me bullying him.
Right, but I think like the issues of faith within a society and how churches themselves adapt to modern times and you know resisting certain trends within broader society. I think those could be great debate topics, but he's not gonna. Is he gonna address those? No, I don't think so. So I'm kind of glad I'm gonna miss the debate, and you're gonna have to go through it and suffer from the boredom. But
I didn't want to do it, to be honest, because I like these types of conversations more. You can go on my channel. Like I've debated Richard Spencer,
mm-hmm.
and my conversation with Richard Spencer was cordial. And consider that.
Is he also like a big atheist or something?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He doesn't believe in God. He believes in his ancestors or some soul with their ancestors or some weird stuff. So that just goes back to what I'm saying is like that I didn't want to do this debate simply because not because I was afraid of this. Like I mean, like let's be honest. Do you really think I'm afraid to debate this guy? Like no, I just didn't think anything would come of it.
Joe, I don't think it's going to be a debate. I think it's just going to be a shout fest.
Oh, I'm not going to shout at him. I'm just
but I'm saying that you're not going. It's not going to be a coherent conversation.
No, it's not. As a matter of fact, I think that would be like impossible. I don't think that's going to happen, and I challenge him to let it happen because then he will lose the debate badly.
Okay, I think we've gone on long enough, but yeah, Joe, you have a YouTube channel too, right? Was it? Don't tell me it was Far Right or Far Wrong, right?
That's my channel.
Okay, so you can find him there, and I guess maybe later you can post a comment on the YouTube video with a link, or I'll find it. And this will be on Friday at 7 on Joe's Facebook page. Joe, Joe.
Either Joe or Max Rice, one or the other.
Okay, so Max Rice, people could, my fans aren't too illiterate. So you can find that, and, you guys can suffer through that.
Yeah, just follow me on Facebook, guys. And when you follow me on Facebook, I'll be sharing a link to it.
Okay.
No problem, Lennon McCarthy. Thank you.
Have a good night, guys.
Ophir is an idiot. He said I want an inquisition, by the way. Just going to end with that.
You guys love each other, him and you. All right.
I don't even know who that is, so.
That's the guy we had on the other stream.
Oh, is that what it is? He says I want another inquisition. Yeah, you're first to burn at the stake.
Oh, wait, that's threats on YouTube.
That's a joke. I'm kidding.
In Minecraft. Say in Minecraft. Say in Minecraft.
In Minecraft. It's a joke.
All
I'm just kidding.
All right. End of stream.
Everybody is a freaking political correctness. It was a joke.
Oh, and me and Ophir are gonna have a stream Thursday on a different topic with another guest. So yeah, I'll probably have to work out those details. I think it's gonna be in the morning on Thursday. So that's it. All right, have a good night, everybody, and stay safe. This is Bold Like a Leopard, where you're free to disagree, and now you're free to fuck off.